still hear when you cover your lips?
You're a fucking prick.
See, I'm laughing because you're laughing, but I didn't hear what you said.
I'll tell you what he said, Sarah. He said you're a fucking prick.
Your ears never stop hearing. It's the only sense that never turns off. So if I put this in,
My God. That is completely invisible.
you don't hear with your ear, you hear with your brain.
Hello, Sarah. Welcome to Things People Do. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Was that too loud? Did I say hello too loud?
Yes.
Okay. So
If I was going to have a sound level meter here, which you can download quite easily on your phone as an app.
a sound level meter.
Yes, which I quite regularly advise people to do.
Really? What, to protect your hearing?
Yeah, well, just to observe in your environments what could be too loud. So me talking at the moment is around about 65 decibels, quite a normal level. As soon as you get to 80, it can start to cause damage.
Right.
So for some people in their jobs, one thing I do is get detailed histories of what people do in their jobs, their lifestyle, that sort of thing. And if I think that they've got a part of their life that could be damaging from noise exposure, then it's one thing I quite regularly advise is to download a sound level meter and check the levels.
Right, hang on, Tom, sorry. Sarah, we have jumped right into the cochlea and I'd like us to come back out
Okie dokie.
and hang off the lobes because we've
Really good
delved straight into it.
terminology.
You can't do that.
I like
Did you know cochlea before Sarah got the scale model out in front of us and referred to the cochlea?
Do I look like a man that knows nothing about ears?
It looks like he was told the subject for the interview.
I've known cochlea for years. Years. It's the bony bit in your ear. It's the only bone in your ear.
Not technically. So you
That
have
means no.
3 bones in your ears, commonly known as hammer, anvil, and stirrup, but they are actually called malleus, incus, and stapes. Stapes being the smallest bone in your body, which is about the size of a grain of rice.
This Joe is going to be one of those episodes.
Yeah.
with
So
deep
what's the
dive.
what's the cochlea?
Cochlea is what we call the organ of hearing, which looks like a snail shell, but it's not a bone.
It's the organ of hearing, Joe. It's not a bone. Cochlea. A bone.
The word is right.
I
but
nearly
it's-
nailed that. I nearly nailed it, but like I'm going to get my cotton bud.
Oh no.
I'm going to remove it from the ear canal, and I'm going to fuck it off in the bin, and I'm going to reverse to the question of, are you a listener to the show?
I am indeed an avid listener, have been for a very long time.
Okay, good. So we don't have to explain.
Safe ground.
No,
Yeah, we don't have to
no.
explain the concept and maybe the weirdness sometimes that you come out with.
I definitely, and my colleagues will definitely say that I am with you with the weirdness.
What do you call a group of audiologists?
Audiologists, I suppose. I don't think
Great
I've ever
question.
been asked that question.
Nope.
Been to many conferences where a lot of us get together, but no, I don't think we've ever had a collective name.
Well, I am here to inform you that a group of audiologists, like the same way a group of crows are called a murder,
Okay.
a group of cows are called a herd,
Yep.
a group of sheep are called sheeps,
Flock.
a flock. A group of audiologists are called lobes.
Lovely.
Lobes, yeah.
Lobes.
Very
Oh,
appropriate. Yeah.
No, lobe. We'll go with
A lobe of audiology.
a lobe of all.
It'd be very apt. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to start, Sarah, with a question which may be a terrible question, but Joe, see what you think. So, Sarah, are you an expert in listening or an expert in ears?
Really
the
good,
same-
really
Oh.
good question, because no, they are not the same thing.
Oh.
So I went to university. I did a 4-year degree to be a hearing specialist. But obviously, I know a lot about the ear. But if, for example, you had an ear infection, so you might need antibiotics, that would be a doctor. And if you had something more weird and wonderful wrong, you'd go and see an ear, nose and throat consultant, commonly known as ENT. So they look at the physical ear and in a lot of cases the brain. But I look at the hearing, which is more of a psychological concern than a physical one. So you don't hear with your ear, You
Sorry.
hear with your brain.
Right. You don't hear with your ear, you hear with your brain.
Yeah.
Before I unpack that,
Yep.
but surely you have to have knowledge of the physical
Yes, absolutely.
stuff going on with the ear. You can't just go, fuck it off. What is that thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just
Yeah.
go with what I can hear, not what that is.
And one thing I love about my profession is obviously we do hearing tests on nearly every single person that comes to see us, and we can learn so much from a hearing test.
Really?
To the point that we can actually say to people, do you do this? And they say, how did you know that?
What?
Because there are certain aspects of hearing tests that can be very much pointed to certain professions, certain traumas that have occurred, things like that. So absolutely, we need to know about the ear because there are a lot of conditions, lots of things can go wrong, like with any part of the body. But my main aim is to improve people's hearing. If I do find something that's more of a physical issue and potentially can be helped, then we would refer back to an ENT consultant.
Right, look, let's get the bit that you don't really deal with out the way then, with the physical aspect of the hearing object, also known as the ear, which ear is short for electro audio receiver.
Or just once upon a time, someone called it the ear.
That was one of the best. If Sarah hadn't intervened there, I would have fully embraced your nonsense explanation.
Yeah.
It's not nonsense.
You don't shout. I've got headphones on. Don't damage my hearing.
It's not nonsense.
And the thing to remember is raising your voice doesn't actually make you clearer. It's a real misconception that, you see a little old lady, she's asked the cashier 3 times, how much do I owe you? And the cashier gets louder and louder. Actually, it makes your voice more distorted.
Does it?
So if you want to get to hear someone better or need them to hear you, you slow down and really pronunciate. So it's all about the processing of the brain, not your hearing in itself.
It's about the processing of the brain, Joe, not the volume, but by shaping my mouth as I am, enunciating clearly, am I helping you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, that is probably a bit patronising,
I
but
was-
yes, it's certainly
Sarah,
easier to hear.
You took the words right out of my mouth, and the following words are now going to come out of my mouth and hopefully insert themselves into Tom's ears.
Yep.
And they are, piss off, you patronising twat.
The way you pronounced twat was a thing of beauty.
Thank you.
Twat.
Twat. Anyway, back to the ear.
But it's one thing you've just said about honing the sound in. This bit here is called your pinner, and it's designed to
Which
hone
bit? Just
the
describe
sound
for
in.
people who are just listening.
Just this bit. So the bit on the outside, the bit that you can see.
The
is
most
called-
eerie of the ear.
Yeah.
These
So
are your pinners. Is that why they say, pin your ears?
no, that's because some people have very big ears and they want
right,
them pinned
okay,
back.
sorry, yeah.
But in the sense of if you cup your ears, and you'll find this a bit difficult because you've got cauliflower ears, but if you cup your ears, can you notice you can hear better? Obviously a bit difficult to do with headphones on, but if you cup your ears, you hear better.
Right.
And that's because all of
no.
these little grooves in this outside part of your ear are designed to hone the sound down your canal. Now, obviously, when you have cauliflower
What did you
ears,
just
it's more
say?
difficult.
I shit you not. You started cupping
And I was
your ear.
gonna say-
I cupped them.
Because you've got cauliflower
I can't
ears.
hear a thing.
Yeah.
That works better than putting my fingers in my ears. I can't hear. You two talk.
Hang on,
have
that
a
blocks it
conversation.
off.
But that's because you've got cauliflower ears. So you've either got a build-up of cartilage or blood because of the constant rubbing when you're playing rugby.
Yeah.
So my husband used to play rugby in university.
6'4", isn't he?
And I made him wear a scrum cap when we first met because unfortunately it's that constant rubbing, which is why when you're in the scrums it's obviously more likely to happen. Whereas the cap doesn't get rid of it completely, but it prevents the rubbing.
So we've got the pinner. The pinner.
And for you, that's why you might struggle to hear occasionally because the outer part isn't honing the sound down your canal quite as well as it should.
And why are we
Ear.
pronouncing everything since Sarah told us to
Sarah told us to.
with lips that are moving everywhere, like Mick Jagger?
Right. Can we go back to the BFG's ear that you've brought in
Yep.
here. So we've got the pinner.
Yep.
That's the outside. What else have we got in the ear?
So you've got the external canal,
Yep.
which obviously a lot of people know about because they tend to stick things in there to try and get wax
Are you
out.
not allowed?
Nope.
Mate, that's... I don't want to get too aggressive too early. And like you said, you don't need to raise your voice to make a
No,
point.
you
all the
don't
time.
need to raise your voice
Sometimes
to make a point.
It's a stronger point to say it calmly with passive aggressiveness. Sarah, I put cotton buds in my ear all the time, and you say it's bad for me, but when I do that, it fucking loads comes out on it, like dirty as fuck. What are you pulling that face for?
Makes me feel a bit sick.
Oh, what, your ears?
No, listen,
whistle
love a bit
clean,
of
are they?
wax.
we'll get onto my ears.
Okay, fine. And it comes out, so it does work.
So wax is not dirty, and it's a real problem that we suffer, that people think wax is dirty.
Oh.
So every entrance to your body on your face particularly has a physical and a chemical barrier. So your eyes, you have tears and eyelashes. Nose, you have hair and snot. Mouth, you have teeth and saliva. Ears, you have hair and wax.
So it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
So the more wax, the better.
No, I mean, if you have 85% full ears of wax, it's going to block your hearing. But anything less than that, perfect.
What? This is blowing my mind.
So why do we think that
Why are we trying to
earwax
clear
is
it out?
dirty?
I really
Why
don't
are we trying to
know.
clear it out?
I mean, I think just people like the feeling of shoving cotton buds in their ears.
Fuck it. Oi, come on, tell me the truth now.
Have you ever
Tell
had...
me the truth, both of you. Tell me the truth. And also, if you don't mind joining in with me, I can mimic the face that I do. And I do it like this. So this is the cotton bud in my right hand.
Yep.
And I like give it a little twizzle before it goes in. And then as it goes in,
Your right eye is shut.
keep it right, and then I give it a little...
It's a bit like Paddington when he used the electric toothbrush in his ear.
So isn't it so good? Don't you?
The other one is when Shrek pulls wax out of his ears to make a candle. That always makes me laugh.
I would like to know, Joe, at this point, because this has got me thinking. How many sounds, Joe, do you think the average person will hear in a day?
In a day.
How many sounds?
Well, as in varieties of sounds, because if I spoke to 50 people in the day, that counts as 50 voices.
That counts
as 50
as...
sounds.
yeah, okay.
Or
Two
is it
parts of
just
the
a
question.
voice?
Total number of sounds and then total different sounds.
Total number of sounds, 100. You hear the birds tweeting sometimes. Twit.
That's an owl. Twoo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good, thanks.
nice.
Or the walking on gravel. Or a dog barking. Woof. Or a car shutting.
We're going to do all 100 or...
What?
Do all 100 sounds always? Keep going for about 10 minutes.
Or the wind. The wind is a sound, even though it's not a sound, it is a sound when it blows past your ear. So it's actually deflecting off the canal and going...
Pinner.
Pinner, sorry. And so it's about 100.
About 100. Sarah?
Absolutely no idea. But it's probably going to be in the millions.
Millions.
Millions!
Your ears never stop hearing. It's the only sense that never turns off. So like your heart beats constantly, your eardrum will vibrate constantly. So when you are listening to anything, your brain is naturally putting all sounds into 3 different categories. Positive, so an ice cream truck that's around the corner, you're instantly going to go, oh, that's lovely. Although, I don't know if that's an ice cream truck. And then you have neutral, which will be your air conditioning, something like that. And then you have your negative, which will be baby crying or or an ambulance, for example.
Oh.
So your ears never... that's your defense mechanism when you sleep. So the reason why you hear your baby crying in the night is because your ears never turn off. So you think that vibration is happening constantly. It never stops. So when you say per day, it never stops. You're never not hearing.
Just on that hearing while she's sleeping. Mm-hmm. Do you know why I don't hear my kids sleep waking?
Because
in the night?
your brain will have put that into the neutral zone,
Best.
which is very much why And it's something I learned when I was looking to be an audiologist, and I did a clinic with a paediatric community audiologist, and she told me something called the crisp packet test. I don't know if you've ever heard this.
Oh.
And with parents, I tell this to parents all
Is
the
this
time.
where you put the crisp packet in the oven and it goes this small?
Yeah, hearing.
If only.
Okay.
So as I said, we put sounds into these categories. So every time you do anything, you are naturally assessing your environment and putting sounds into these 3 different categories. It's why if you're driving, if you ever hear an ambulance, you will be alerted to it. Where is it? Because you'll always have it in that sort of negative zone. Children, unfortunately, depending on the type of relationship you have with your parents, will most likely have put your voice into that neutral or maybe even to that negative zone. So, as I said, hearing and listening are 2 completely different things. You hear with your ear, but you listen with your brain. So what happens is children just switch you off. They, we hear spouses all the time saying, oh, he's just choosing not to listen to me. Well, to a certain extent, that's true, but it's more subconsciously done than consciously done. So the crisp packet test is take your child's favourite sweet, chocolate, crisp, something like that they know what that is and they know they love it. Get them doing something slightly mundane, watching TV, I don't know, something that's going to keep their entertainment but not be so absorbed. And you just rattle that packet and see how quickly they whip their head round and listen for that. And it's a real clear winner to figure out, is your child not hearing or are they just not listening? And I'd say most of the time the children are not listening, as in, I say, it's a subconscious thing. It's not that they're consciously not listening to you, but it's because they've put your voice into that neutral/negative zone and they're just not picking you up. Now, if you were the type of parent that every time you spoke to your child, you gave them a sweet, they probably would whip their head round every time you said their name because they've put you into that positive, like they do like you would an ice cream.
Yeah,
truck.
but then they'd immediately expect a sweet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, they're listening, but they're also going, well, where the fuck's my sweet?
Yeah.
It's like with the dogs.
Yeah.
You go, oh, you've taught them to come in. You go, well, every time they come in, they go, that crisp just remind me of my dogs, actually. Every time I go to the fridge to open a pack of ham to eat it, for me, like as a snack, like I just go, oh, I'll have a bit of ham.
But it's exactly the same.
As soon as I open that ham packet, they come sprinting in. They're like, fucking hell, is it because I've given them ham one time?
It's exactly the same. So they've put that sound into their positive pot in their brain. But, that's why dogs bark if the doorbell rings or if the post comes through. It's because they know that either that's a positive or in some cases a negative. So they have to jump up and run away. But yes, that's why most children and spouses indeed ignore the people in their life, close people in their life.
Would this also explain, Sarah, why, let's say I'm trying to have a nap during the day. If I try and nap with 0 sounds, Joe, actually quite hard. If I put the telly on, quite low volume, but it's going, fall asleep in about a minute.
That's your neutral.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a bit like when I play golf.
Yeah.
I prefer it when people are talking
Through your backswing.
in my backswing. And then when they don't talk in my backswing, I fucking spoon it all over the place. But more often than not, when they're talking and it's chilled, straight down the middle. Well, I mean, I don't know what relevance that has.
But it's also about concentration. So the one thing to bear in mind is that, as I say, your brain is constantly assessing sound because realistically, we as humans, as mammals, are here to survive. So your ears, your hearing is a defense mechanism to make sure that you stay alert and okay. So if you're in silence, that's kind of an uneasy situation. Your brain is thinking, why can't I hear anything? Is something wrong? Is something going on? But of course, as soon as you put that TV on, which is, say, neutral or maybe even positive, you relax. Your brain kind of goes, oh, well, I'm obviously fine. I'm obviously in my bed and where I feel safe. So you switch off. Whereas actually in silence, you're not often in silence. You're not often in that quiet environment. So your brain is going, right, what's wrong? Where am I? What's going on? And it's that defense mechanism.
Right, just want to quickly go back to cotton buds.
Yep.
Because I didn't get a full answer. In fact, I didn't ask the question of if they're bad for you. In fact, why are they bad for you?
Okay, so as I say, earwax is a good thing. You want a small amount of wax in your ear. It's got chemicals in there that will kill bugs and germs that come into your ear. And I'm talking physical bugs just as much as germ
Like
bugs.
Fatima Whitbread. She got a bug in her ear during Celeb a few years ago.
Yeah, it's very common.
It's fucking great. Like,
Is it a big one?
A fucking huge
Did
cockroach
it go in and
thing.
stay in? Or
Yeah,
come
it
out?
went in like it was fucking mental. They had to like,
Did they?
And I fucking love. Tell me, as an audiologist, and I know you do it about hearing, not actually about the physical nature, but on TikTok,
Yeah,
I am
love.
obsessed with people putting cameras in their ears with the things and stuff
As
being
long as they're
pulled out.
professionals. I love
I
the
am obsessed
professional
with
ones.
professionals putting stuff in their ear to pull it out, and it's just like, sits in my. As we're doing categories, it sits in my pimple poppers. And,
Yes,
and
I'm
also
a big
mango
pimple popper
worms.
fan.
Have you heard of
Yeah.
mango worms?
I
with
think
the
I know what you're
dogs?
talking.
You know when they're popping it through the dogs.
At their asses.
What? Always going back. Always go back to the arse, you, don't you? What's that with you? I mean, I'm not judging you for it, but everything is arse related with you. Anyway, back to the
But
cotton
wax
bud.
is sticky, so they
Okay.
either physically get stuck and die, or they ingest it and die.
Okay.
So and it's also there to moisturize your ears. If you didn't know already, we're 95.7%, 90-something% water. So we take that absorption from anywhere we can. So you'll take it from your skin, which is why everyone gets dry skin.
And the cotton buds push it all down, do they?
So it's a few things. Obviously, if you're taking that chemical defense, you're more likely to get an ear infection. Similarly, you're taking it away, so you're going to take away the moisture. So it's going to get very dry. You can get psoriasis, eczema, those sorts of things. But most importantly, and what the most common problem is, people shove them in too far and burst their eardrum.
Oh! And there's no coming back from that, is there? Can't regrow?
So it can, but in some cases, no. So yeah, you have to be really careful. And it's really it's quite a traumatic event if you burst your eardrum as well, because you've got to think of your eardrum is literally an eardrum, like you would beat an African drum. It's skin pulled over cartilage. So if you burst it, it will bang, and the blood coming out is quite something. And people don't just put cotton buds in their ears. They'll put nails, pen lids, bobby pins.
What would you do that for?
What do you mean?
Because
It's
people
such
love
a nice
people
feeling.
love that scratchy
You put a
feeling.
pen lid, a big pen lid, you're just there going, oh, that's nice.
And yeah, and
I haven't done a nail yet. I might do a nail.
but yeah, someone will trip or fall or get hit in the arm. You know, you hear some parents, their kids will go whack, and yeah, through it goes.
When I was little, I was around a neighbour's house and we were play fighting, and it was when Star Wars, the Darth Maul one, the one with the double-sided lightsaber, the red one. He had a little toy of it, and we were wrestling or whatever, and then he's jumped on the side, and he had this little Darth Maul. And it had the lightsaber, and he shoved it as hard as he could in my ear, and I can still feel it now. Like the pain is one of the worst pains I've ever had.
It's
Because the
really
lightsaber was on, was it?
Wow. The speed at which you moved from, oh, that's so disgusting, to, oh, I'm going to nail this gag. But I can still feel that. Fuck,
and
thingy.
it would have left permanent damage on your eardrum as well.
Oh, right.
How actually?
Bring a downer on the situation.
I genuinely. How is your hearing? Have you had a hearing test?
Huh?
Less of a good gag.
What's a hearing?
bit late now.
What's a hearing test? Is there a
Something
hearing
that
test?
I do every single day.
Well, yeah, but how do you do? Okay, what is a hearing test, Sarah?
So a hearing test is quite simply how we test people's hearing. So we'll put either headphones on or inserts in, depending on what you have available. And we'd like to put everyone in a soundproof booth, so an environment where obviously they can't hear anything else. And then through that, with a computer, we play them a series of different sounds. And obviously, as an audiologist, I have the techniques that I do to reaffirm each point. And then we have something called an audiogram, which will show a line, essentially, of where their hearing is. And what that line means is you can hear everything below that line, but you can't hear anything above that line. And there'll be a normal, mild, moderate, severe, and profound. So if anyone ever says to you, oh, I've got 40% hearing loss, didn't hear it from a professional. We don't deal with percentages. We call it mild, moderate, severe, and profound. And if you have a profound hearing loss, you would be deemed clinically deaf, of which then you can be referred for a cochlear implant, which are getting more and more common. The little hearing aid on the side and the little disc-looking thing on the back, something called a cochlear implant.
Are you not tempted to have a hearing test, Joe? I've had one done.
What for?
Well, what do you think? because my eyes weren't great. What do you think? That is?
Getting a bit old.
No, but like, what do you want to hear more? What do you need
No,
to
what
hear
it
more?
was, because I was the generation that grew up, probably that first generation of wearing headphones all the time, personal stereos, and there was no volume limiters. So you just used to turn it up. Let's say you were on the tube and you couldn't hear your music, you just turn it up. Just turn it up.
Yeah.
I think there is also, and you can tell me, Sarah, if this is a medical term or if I've made this up, me and mates of the same age who spent a lot of time in nightclubs, we refer to it as clubber's ear,
Yeah.
which is where you go and stand in front of this big bass bin speaker because it was more fun. And almost all of us now have either got a hearing issue or a constant whistling sound in one of our ears, or something that sounds like a washing machine in the
Yeah,
distance,
tinnitus.
just going. Vroom, vroom,
So its technical term is noise-induced hearing loss. So and this is what a lot of people don't appreciate, which is partly why I love being here and talking to you now, to sort of raise a bit of awareness. So hearing is a cumulative problem, not a one-off. So if you think about your ear, you have 3,000 hair cells, as they're called, because they look like little hairs floating in fluid. The ones you're born with, the ones you die with, they don't regenerate. And if you think about those cells as like a forest, okay, there's all those trees. You've gone to that nightclub, you've actively taken an axe to that tree.
Oh, no.
So at 18, 19, 20, whatever age old, you are starting the damage. So what we call age-related hearing loss, which a lot of people think means you're old, is actually starting in 45 to 55. So by no means people who are old, but because we are damaging our ears so much younger and so much greater, so putting more pressure onto those cells, they are dying when we're much younger.
So they don't grow back.
They don't go back.
So it's like weird comparison. It's the only thing that came to my head. The menstrual cycle. You're born with that
Okay.
amount of eggs.
Yeah.
And that's all the eggs. Do you know what I mean? You're going to have.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we're born with that amount of mini trees, as you described
Yeah.
them, in this forest in our ears, and they don't regenerate.
But the
They don't
difference- they're
regrow.
all working from the moment you're born.
What about you chop some of those trees down, like we just said, how you would over time? Can you make the remaining trees stronger?
Nice.
Yes.
Can
You can
Can,
train your
Can you?
ears.
It's called a hearing aid.
Oh,
Really got me there. Did you see that? I thought I'd stumbled on something.
I thought you stumbled
I was
something
like, oh my God.
that was a huge boon for me. I thought Sarah was going
Oh.
to say that I could train my ears to get back to where they were before I decided to stand in front of the biggest speaker in nightclubs.
Clubber's ear.
No, I'm
Every
afraid
Friday and
not.
Saturday.
No, the
For about 10 years.
physical cell, once it's dead, it's gone.
Oh.
And if you prematurely damage it,
Oh.
so you said about the whistling, what we call tinnitus, one of the leading causes of tinnitus is premature hearing loss. So people who have, if you naturally get older with not that much noise exposure, we're all going to get hearing loss because we all expose our ears to large
Tinnitus.
amounts of noise. But if you purposely hear a lot of loud things, then they die prematurely, and that's when tinnitus can come about.
What's tinnitus?
I'm going to give you the unscientific version.
Oh,
tinnitus.
I'm gonna. Okay,
And
I'll
then
ask
Sarah's.
Tom.
So,
Yeah.
no, look, but it'll make sense.
No. Let me start.
This
Let me rephrase it, similar to what happened earlier. Here we go. Sarah, what is actually? I'm going to ask Tom this question first. And then you can give the correct
Okay.
answer afterwards. Tom, what's tinnitus?
Tinnitus to me, Joe, is one of two things. It's either this, or it's this.
So a tiny little bird giving you a song.
Looks like you're eating the microphone.
Yeah, or me eating whilst lying next to you. Mhm. Okay, Sarah, what is tinnitus?
It's any sound that you hear that no one else can.
Any sound that you hear that no one else can.
Yeah, it's the easiest way to describe it. Yeah, so it could be a whistle, a buzz, a hum, a hiss.
But is that a real sound? You know, like when you get ringing in your ears, like you've just described as that's a tinnitus, or in the you get ringing in your ears and someone says, "Oh, someone's talking about you." Is that saying?
No,
What's that then?
ears go red.
Oh, my ears are burning.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I've got that wrong. I thought it was as if your ears are ringing. Anyway, is that an actual sound? Like Tom's saying, do you experience this?
The weird thing is, Sarah will have an explanation for this, I'm sure, Joe, is that your brain sometimes seems to get used to that noise, and it actually sees that as a safe noise and tunes you out to it.
Absolutely. So, unfortunately, we'll never know, or at least hopefully one day, but at the moment we don't know if tinnitus is technically real or not, because it's in your head. And one of if you want a bit of gruesome information, there was many years ago when health and safety wasn't so much of an issue. There were a few research projects where people's tinnitus was so bad that they were contemplating doing some not so nice things. So they asked for their ears to be taken out. And in all cases, a nerve was cut, the ear was taken out, and they still heard their tinnitus.
That would be a blow, wouldn't it? That would be really...
So, unfortunately, we can't do live autopsies. We can't cut about and poke and prod. So we don't actually know exactly what's going on, but we've used a lot of research and scientific knowledge to create very strong theories. And from the point of view, like you said, perfectly, in the sense of we put all sounds into categories. So of 80% of people with tinnitus will have a hearing loss. That is a statistic that we know about, and that's why there's a really strong link between those two. But of those, only about 2% will find their tinnitus distressing, and usually that's because they've put it into that negative bracket. So if you can keep it in your neutral or even try and make a positive out of it, you will naturally learn to ignore it, like if you had air conditioning in the room. But for some people, for usually psychological reasons, so they've got a lot of stress, going through a bereavement, something like that, there's a reason why their brain is actively seeing that as a negative. So my job as a tinnitus specialist audiologist is actually a bit more of a therapist, is to look at what the tinnitus is a symptom of, not the tinnitus as a problem in itself.
That's so interesting, isn't it?
Your ear is not actually there. You're there to take what's a physical sound, so sound waves, which are a physical ripple in the air, send it up your ear. It gets changed into electrical signals, which is how your brain communicates, sends it up the nerve to your brain. So your ear in itself is not doing the listening, it's your brain. Your ear is just a communication tool.
So your ear's collecting it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then your brain is transcribing it.
Absolutely.
Great
Absolutely.
use of transcribing.
Thank you. I saw transcribe somewhere.
It's very good.
Thank you.
And that's why you can have 10 different people with the same hearing loss, but perceive that in 10 completely different ways based on their general health, their age, their occupation.
What language they speak.
Absolutely. And what we try to do is remind people that hearing loss is something that can so easily be helped with hearing aids, and it shouldn't be seen as something that indicates that you're old. Because as I said earlier, age-related hearing loss, something we call presbycusis, is actually starting in our 40s and 50s now, and that's the common starting point for hearing loss. That's not an uncommon. That's very, very common now because of nightclubs and all that sort of thing.
Clubbers ear.
You know,
People.
Clubbers ear. I feel like you should have your pinner should
show
be
visible damage.
Yeah, I think we should do something about that.
You want to break my ear?
No, I don't want to break your ear, but I think it needs like a little knock, just a tiny little cauliflower, just a little
Don't want
bubble
a
at the
cauliflower.
top.
it takes a really long time to get cauliflower.
You
we
can't.
haven't
Be,
got
you,
time for
you
it.
can't be
So
known.
she said we haven't got time for it.
You can't be known as someone with clubber's ear if your ear doesn't look like it's been clubbed. Do you know what I mean? I'm not letting that go. Can you hear more than one thing?
Yeah, of course you can.
No, as in, I find it really hard
Yeah.
to listen to the guest and Tom and Vicky or Ryan in my ear.
Quietly laughing
when
behind.
when they need to tell me something. I find it really hard. So you're telling me about the cochlear implants and all that lot, and I'm listening to that, and then I've got Vicky saying, "Oh, we're going to move on swiftly to this bit." And I go, "Why can't I hear both?"
Processing.
So I can.
You can hear both,
and
whether you're
I'm just
listening
not
to
very
both.
good at. So I could get better at it,
In theory, yeah,
Okay,
if you
okay.
practice, like with anything.
but
But
I choose not to.
But if you have a 20-year-old with a hearing loss and an 80-year-old with a hearing loss, the 20-year-old will hear better every single time because the speed of your brain processing is so much sharper when you're younger. And actually, that's something that we struggle with quite a lot because you'll get someone say 75, standard hearing loss, and they're not getting on with their hearing aids, and you can't quite understand why. And there's something we do called a speech test, which we can specifically test how they're processing sound within noise. And some people will have really terrible results. And realistically, in those people, you maybe need to help them with lip reading classes or sign language classes, because actually the ear is working as well as it can, but the brain can't process the sound.
I think we should talk about hearing aids, Joe, because there is something about hearing aids, Sarah, which doesn't make sense to me, because people are used to glasses.
Yep.
People wear glasses sometimes, Joe, simply for the way that glasses look.
Absolutely.
As in, like, see-through?
Yeah.
Is it? No, sorry. Is it
Well, I mean, hopefully
clear
it's-
glass?
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
prescription type thing.
Yeah.
Just clear glass.
I mean, you and I
For fashion.
both know someone who wears
Yes. Yes.
completely clear glass
Yes.
spectacles purely to look more intelligent on television.
Yeah. Okay.
But there seems to be, Sarah, a stigma around hearing aids.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that comes down to this age-old stigma that hearing loss means you're old. And I would say that's probably still the problem we have today, is that you'll get a lot of people, and they might even be quite old. I mean, I've had 90-something-year-olds say to me, oh, I don't want to be seen as old wearing hearing aids. But realistically, you're completely right. As an audiologist who has a passion for hearing, I can't quite understand why people wear glasses, will walk around with a walking stick, happily use a motorised scooter if they need to. But hearing aids is just that bit much.
That is fucking wild.
It
if
is,
there's
isn't it?
something out there that's going to improve your ability to hear again, who gives a fuck what it looks like? Especially with what they look like now. They're like as
Teeny
discreet
tiny,
as you like. But how do they actually work? How does the implant actually...
So the implant's very different to a hearing aid.
Okay, how does
and
the hearing aid actually work then?
I don't know too much about the actual specifics,
Yeah.
but basically it takes in sound. There's a series of microchips and processes that will change the sound that's being inputted and calculate so it's only producing the sound that you need.
What?
And
Wow.
We
So it's
use,
not like a microphone.
it is, but a very, very sophisticated one. And they even use AI technology now
Do they?
to map someone's face to help you hear better. And it's so tiny. And realistically, the amount of people I've seen talking to themselves down the street because they've got AirPods or, all these different things, I still don't quite understand
That's
what
so
people
true.
are
Like,
self-conscious of it.
we're used to seeing people jam things in their ears and talk all the time. What is the difference between having a set of AirPods, white, obvious AirPods whacked in your ears, and having something far more discreet that enables you to hear better?
Well, especially as a lot of hearing aids can be Bluetoothed, so you can take phone calls, you can stream music, you can stream podcasts. Which I must say, if I have a very quiet clinic and I'm catching up on my admin, I will put a podcast and a pair of hearing aids in my ears. Which don't tell my manager. But yeah, because they're so discreet, they're so small, and they're so easy to use. Whereas I find with my headphones, it can be a little bit more cumbersome and a bit more of a problem.
Have you brought any in? Any hearing? Can we have a look?
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
it's just the tools of the trade.
Yes.
Okay,
So
fine.
I'd say that one of the smallest ones we have is something called an IIC, which is a invisible in the canal.
This is the size. It looks like a very small jelly bean to me,
Yeah,
Joe.
with a ant's antenna,
But also,
tiny ant antenna.
I'm guessing, Sarah, that the only bit that you could see if Joe or I were wearing this is the very end bit, which for people who aren't watching this on YouTube is absolutely tiny. It's pale brown. So that is pretty invisible.
It is. So this one has been made for my ear, so I can demonstrate to people.
Superb.
So if I put this in,
And if you could pull your hair back so we can
you
see.
can see that it's...
That
Oh
is-
my God.
That is completely invisible because it's what's that bit of the ear called? That little sticking out bit.
that's called your tragus, this little bit here.
It's hidden behind the tragus. The tragus has hidden it.
So from the point of view of, and even the ones that we get behind the ear, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have one of our common ones to show you, but even one of our ones that sit behind the ear, they will just sit very comfortably behind, and then your, a bit of hair, hat, anything will completely cover it. Bearing in mind the little wire that then sits down into your ear is no finer than 2 hair strands.
This is fantastic.
So
What baffles me though, Tom, and it is a little bit of a complaint, is that when we do our live shows
Oh yeah, I know what you're going to say.
and we have to wear in-ears so that Ryan or Vicky can talk to us whilst we're live, There's never any that fit my fucking ears. And yet Sarah's just pulled out a very nice, what would you call that? Like a wallet. Like a wallet of waxy, eerie materials.
I always clean them.
Okay, thank you. And I can see that we haven't really put much effort into finding smaller ones because they're clearly about, aren't they?
Do you get impressions made of your ears where the funny coloured putty goes in and takes the shape of your ear and then gets specifically made?
You'd think that would be a good idea, wouldn't it?
So you can get custom made. They're called
Musicians do.
Yeah,
relatively.
They're called broadcasting molds.
Inexpensive, or are they pricey?
I'd say they're maybe a bit pricey for the day-to-day person, but for someone where it be well used and well looked after, then absolutely not at all.
Well, thank you for backing up my argument to us getting some personalised moulded in-ears for me, considering that how long have we done this show for?
5 years.
Not once have I put in a claim for expenses.
Yeah,
I've never done an expenses claim, so surely.
So maybe the £200 it cost wouldn't be too bad.
Okay, that's on
200
record
quid,
now.
For one, yeah.
Oh, maybe I'll just have one.
You could just have one.
I'll just have
into one ear.
That's fine.
You take them out anyway, don't you?
Yeah. You said at the top of the show, 60 decibels is...
65 is sort of the common volume that someone will speak at.
And then 80 is quite loud. Like, can we do like, if I do the... if I start off like low and work up, could you just like give a number at each sort
I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
yep.
I'd say you're better suited to try that than Tom is. Sorry, I just mean...
I agree.
I mean,
Sarah's
Sarah's the audiologist.
She's an audiologist. I'm not.
Probably about 15, 20 decibels. 30, 35. You're probably about 60,
What
60,
I'm really
70
enjoying is that
now.
you're just going higher with notes. Like, like that's making the difference.
Start doing the Sound of Music.
What do you mean?
Well, it doesn't matter how high a note you do, it's the volume. But you always seem to be doing it like it makes a difference.
What?
You're going up through your register. Like
You're making them higher pitched as you go up.
But that's not the decibel.
You're
Decibel's
You're
the
going higher
loudness.
pitched as you go louder. Or
So
lower
I have to
pitched
do
as
the
you go
same sound.
Well,
You don't have to.
It doesn't matter, but going up through your register makes no difference.
Okay.
It's the volume,
Right, okay.
not the note.
Sarah.
up. Yes.
No. That's the new one. Sarah.
Probably about 40, 45.
We'll see, yeah.
Sarah.
You're probably about 70, 75.
Sarah!
100, 110.
He's got a big one coming.
Turn the volume down on the phone.
Sarah! Get back in now! Pack it in!
It's the most aggressive thing you've ever done to a guest. And you've told guests to fuck off.
It's probably not as loud as you'd think. That's probably still around the 100 to 120.
I knew I should have stuck with the notes.
Quite haunting.
Very nice.
Are you coming to the tree? Strung up a man, they say, who murdered 3. Too much.
Very nice.
Okay. Have you heard that one?
I've heard it, but
You've
I don't
heard
know
that
where I've
one?
heard it from.
The hanging tree from the Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah.
It's haunting.
It's haunting.
Yeah.
It's really nice. I really enjoy it. Sorry. Anyway, that was...
But
So
it's a linear scale. So 80 decibels, which is not that loud, is only bad for you if you're in it for, say, 8 hours. So it's about the accumulation of time. But if you're in 90, I think it's only about 2 hours. If you're at 100, it's a matter of minutes. And if you get to 120 decibels, it's about 7 seconds.
what's the sort of
before it
thing
does
that would be
damage.
120 decibels? Obviously, I couldn't get anywhere near that, but what's that?
Jet engine.
Oh,
Engine.
that's loud as
So
fuck.
you'll find that every single person in an airport should have ear protection.
Now we've begun this discussion, Joe, what are the other things, Sarah, the other everyday things that could mess up our hearing?
Anything. I say anything that's over 80 decibels. So obviously most commonly shouting at your kids.
Yeah.
Probably one of them. It is quite considerably loud if you're doing it quite repetitively. But just driving a car, lorry drivers unfortunately are more likely to have hearing loss because they spend so much time in the car, and that is louder than you expect. A lot of people do think of the stereotypical going nightclubs, things like that, but it's all about the repetitiveness of being in those louder environments. It's not a one-off; it's the constant in that sound.
So did you say the 120 is our limit? Like,
It's not the limit, but it's a sound you might more commonly hear volume-wise. So
is there a limit to the human ear that would you go, like in films where it's a bit pitch and it shatters all the glass? Is there like a decibel limit that you go, if a human ear had that, it's going bang?
Potentially, but it would be different for each person.
Oh, okay.
Because it would be based on the strength of their eardrum, if it's had any previous damage. There's lots of different reasons. But in theory, yep, there is a volume that will burst the eardrum.
So how does the human ability to hear compare to the dog's ability? I knew I'd get to the dog.
It's all about the frequency range. So we don't have as wide a frequency range as dogs do.
Why the fuck can a dog hear something 3 miles away? Why the fuck can the dog hear like the rain coming? Mm-hmm. Like it takes an hour to get here, but the dog can hear it, and he's there going. How?
It's all about evolutionary survival. So we could hear, and we can hear far more frequencies when we're first born. But when you realise that you don't need those, either end of the spectrum start to die off. Have you ever heard of something called a mosquito? I'm showing my age. Grew up in the 90s.
As in a little bug that causes malaria.
When I was growing up in the 90s, there was a device created called the mosquito, and it would be put outside shops. And it would emit a high-pitched sound.
Yes.
And the reason they did that is because when you get to about 1920, you have another period of losing some frequencies or commonly known pitch. So what the idea is it would deter teenagers from hanging outside shops because they wouldn't like this sound.
But anyone above that age
couldn't hear it because that area of your ear would have died off because there's no need to hear that high pitch. It was deemed immoral and discontinued.
What, this ear torture was deemed immoral?
Yeah, so you lose a bit not long after you're born. You lose quite a bit when you're, a teenager, and then it'll be sort of pretty constant until you start to get a bit older.
So that's why, a lot of parents go, shh, don't wake the baby because they can hear us.
Yeah,
really.
Yep. You never turn your ears off.
Just shh. Be very, very careful and quiet.
Mm.
If we were to do the podcast at this volume, arguably that is safer for the listeners. Hearing isn't we're not damaging their ears because we're doing it quieter.
It's also quite a good hearing test. If you're not having to turn the podcast up, maybe you need to get your hearing checked.
Oh, maybe we're doing that. Oh, yeah. Or we're doing a public service now.
Very good public service.
How low can you go, Joe? Could you drop it a little bit more to about there? Can you hear what I'm saying now?
I can hear you, yeah. But I think that's only from the help of these earphones making it a bit louder for me. If I was to whisper, the quietest I can whisper, probably.
The test would be, can you still hear when you cover your lips? So can Tom still hear you?
I'm now covering my lips, Joe.
I know you are.
I'm speaking very quietly.
Yeah, I can still hear it.
Okay, you've got good hearing then.
Yeah, I fucking have. What about this? You're a fucking prick.
See, I'm laughing because you're laughing, but I didn't hear what you said.
I'll tell you what he said, Sarah. He said you're a fucking prick.
See, you haven't got clubbers ear. You got fucking pseudo clubbers ear. You got pseudo ear.
I've got pseudo clubbers ears.
Pseudo clubbers ear.
All this time.
Oh, fucking pseudo.
Do you know what I do notice though? This is because I think I've got clubbers ear, which is fair enough because I stood in front of too many speakers and it was stupid. I wouldn't do it again, Sarah, and I wish I hadn't done it. But I notice it if I'm sitting opposite someone in a quiet pub, I hear everything. If the pub is noisier, they're speaking at the same volume, but I can't distinguish what they're saying from the background noise.
Yeah, so
That's what I noticed.
I think a lot of the misconception is that you hear or you don't, and it's so much more complex than that. As we've just been talking about, you've got different pitches, and for most people with age-related or noise-induced hearing loss, they'll lose their higher pitches first, so those really squeaky sounds, which unfortunately is the t-sh sounds. So what's happening there is, and this is why you get a lot of married couples coming and squabbling, he can hear, she can't, and they'll say, oh, because they keep mumbling. But what's happening...
I love the tone at which you put on these role-playing...
Because they're all mumbling.
He's always mumbling his words.
And what's actually happening is you've lost some of your high pitches that give you the clarity, but you're still hearing the mudda-hukka sounds.
Mudda-hukka,
So
motherfucker.
when you're talking like this...
Unnecessary.
As soon as you said mudda-hukka, that sounds like motherfucker. That's it. Mudda-hukka.
Maybe I'm going to have to change that because I say that with every single person however many times a day.
Sorry, what did you just call me? I meant to be an audiologist, and I'm pretty sure you called me a motherfucker. Okay, sorry.
But when you get age-related hearing loss, you lose the high pitches first. So when you're in this environment, you use lip reading and visual expressions, hand gestures to aid that communication to your brain. But when you're in an environment where you sort of cut some of that out, so if you're at a pub, there's background noise, or if someone puts their hand over their mouth, you're only hearing the da
That's
sounds.
so true.
So that's
Someone's
why...
got their back to you as well. So let's say I'm in the kitchen, the dishwasher's on,
Yep.
and someone's got their back to me
And your robot hoover's going,
because I've got that running all the time.
and that makes loads of noise.
Yeah. Then it's really hard.
Yeah, because you're relying purely on your ears, of which if you have a hearing loss, you then cut a certain amount of that out. But when...
Why are you
Elephant poo,
Why are you
yeah.
talking about elephant poo?
Because just look at my mouth.
No, I did. I saw you're doing it in a very camp way, though.
No,
Yeah, because it's meant...
it's I Love You, Beautiful, and there's one other that look very similar.
I'm just seeing elephant poo.
Which one am I doing?
Elephant poo. It's elephant poo. Beautiful. Elephant poo. This is the best hearing test ever. I love you. Fuck you off, you prick.
Yeah, why not? You're good at this. You're good. Good. Have you heard of something called misophonia?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my understanding of misophonia is from the Latin meaning hatred of sound.
Very good. Really good. Yeah, well done.
And particularly in recent times in my personal life, when people say personal life, like, isn't that just the same as normal life? You know, when I say my personal life...
You might have your professional life, which...
Yeah.
Well, what is my professional life? This is not
Good
fucking
question.
professional.
Sorry, very good question.
I've just had Vic.
Ta-
I heard that, Vic. Yeah, now maybe my listening and hearing is... Yeah. She said, I don't think you've got a professional life. Right. Okay.
Time at home on your own.
Yeah, okay. I've been having a lot of discussions with Daisy about my reaction to somewhat normal levels of sound. Like the dog barking.
Yep.
Like, to everyone else in my house, they don't bat an eyelid. As soon as the dog barks, I get a feeling in my body like, fucking hell. Like that makes me... all thingy. Or if the kids get too loud, their decibels are too high, I'm like, even though Daisy's like, what are you going on about? They're just at a normal level. I seem to have like a sensitivity to loud noises. And what's really confusing for her, particularly, is I seem to have that sensitivity to loud noises, but no sensitivity to making loud noises. Like, she's like, but you're fucking loud all the time. Like, and you like sing or you lose the plot and you're always loud. But when someone else is doing it, you have an issue. And then we found this, I don't know where we found it. She was like, oh, maybe you've got this thing that's come up, misophonia. I was like, that's not a real thing. That's just another label that someone's come up with to put it on. But I wanted to ask
it's
Sarah,
very
the audiologist, what misophonia, if it is something.
Yeah. So it comes under the umbrella term hyperacusis, which essentially means hypersensitivity. And it's very similar to tinnitus in the sense that, yes, it can stem from your ear, but it's also a psychological response to stress, usually. And misophonia, which usually is crunching, mouth noises is the most common form of misophonia. So where someone really, really gets aggravated if someone opens a packet and starts munching a packet of crisps. But that's essentially a pain response to sound. Very difficult not knowing too much about you and the situations that you're in, but certainly it can come across because, for example, you had a reduction in your hearing, so your brain did everything it could to try and help stimulate. You then get your hearing back, and then suddenly everything's oversensitive, like you had earplugs and took them out. Very, very, very common in children. There's something called glue ear, which is where when you're an adult, that eustachian tube is facing downwards, but as a child it's flat. So you're very common. Children get ear infections, particularly under the age of 5, particularly in winter. I get a lot of texts from parents, what's this, what's going on? And unfortunately, luckily it's usually temporary, but unfortunately the brain will put a response in to help you hear. So when that glue goes or when your hearing returns, it's still really on high alert. It's really sensitive. As I say, it can be a stress response, and generally with adults who haven't got hearing loss or haven't had hearing problems, it's generally a stress response. You're not so stressed about your own voice because you're controlling it. You know what you're doing, what you're saying, but if other people are doing things, it's an irritation. It's a response to being irritated. And as I say, it's very difficult to pinpoint exactly what, where, how, why. But it is definitely a condition. It's a very common condition, and it is definitely something we test for in our clinic.
Well, thank you for
Deep breathing.
Well, that's what we're trying at the moment, like sitting more in those situations and environments, and just sort of just trying to manage how I react to it.
Yeah.
So almost like making the dog bark by getting the rabbit out. No, it's fucking hell. As if we just need any more animals. Got a fucking rabbit now called Radish.
Radish the rabbit.
Yeah, but his nickname's Radzi.
Very cute.
Thanks. Yeah. And when the kids start going for it rather than reacting straight away to my emotional response, it's more like, okay,
So
try and retrain my response to it, I guess.
Absolutely. So unfortunately, a lot of our processes are all about the fight or flight. So donkeys years ago, when we didn't have modern technology, stress came out in, let's say, this fight or flight, whether you're going to smack that bear or run away. And in modern day, fight or flight is stress. And it's the adrenaline, it's the hormones that shouldn't be coursing through your body, constantly coursing through your body. And they say that's why there's a link with tinnitus and a link with hyperacusis. One thing, and the reason why breathing, which sounds really fickle, but why it's really important is because it's your way. It's one of the few ways that you can tell your brain that you're okay. Because you wouldn't have lovely deep breaths if you're running a race or trying to, punch the bear. So by deep breathing, you're kind of sending a signal to your brain, this is okay, I'm okay, calm. So unfortunately, it won't necessarily take away that sensitivity. If you're married to someone who clicks their fingers every day for their life, there's going to be a time when you punch them in the face because it just gets so irritating. But certainly, as you say, that trigger, that want to yell and tell them to go away will definitely get easier because it won't trigger you quite so much.
I keep doing this. I keep going back to the cotton bud and fucking it off in my ear and how much I enjoy that. And also, I can't, which kid was it? One of them put something in their ear, something like a small bit of Lego.
Very common.
The sort of operating table I set up immediately, got the towel on the floor, crossed my legs, put the towel on top of them, got them to lie down and and got the light. Daisy was holding the iPhone above and thinking it was a proper operating
iPhone
situation.
That doesn't sound very safe.
It was as close to casualty as I could get at short notice. Okay. And I bought this Amazon pack of different pliers, not pliers, like
Tweezers.
but like every tweezer under the sun, all different angles and thingy. For this moment, for like shit.
You had it already?
Yeah, it's for shit stuck up their noses or ears or whatever.
Is that
like
your search terms on Amazon?
Shit stuck up noses. Help.
Someone will have at some point.
Trying to get this out is just thinking, what other weird shit have you seen in people's ears?
The most common one is obviously bugs.
Oh yeah,
Lots of dead bugs.
Literal
insects.
How big? Biggest one?
The biggest one's a moth.
oh yeah.
Luckily, they're usually dead because
Yeah.
they ingest wax and
Oh,
they
yeah.
die. But there was a case in one of the hospitals I worked at that someone had tinnitus, and it turned out there was a little midgy fly that was still fluttering away by their eardrum.
How'd you get it out?
They have to put some sort of spray to like knock it out and then just tweeze her out. I've seen a ladybird literally in someone's hearing aid once. How on earth it got in there, I have no idea.
Did the person get chlamydia?
That's a koala bear.
No, it's not, mate.
It is a koala. But no, it's definitely a
How can an
ladybird
insect have chlamydia?
in the tube.
Who's given a koala chlamydia?
Another koala. So it works. It's TD.
Where did he get it from?
The chicken and the egg. Who had it first?
A koala shagged a chicken.
Maybe.
Fucking
Who
hell.
won?
Anyway, right, yeah, midgies in the ears. Any like
Pen lids, crayons,
Yeah.
beads. The worst one's batteries. I don't think we as parents think of the importance of keeping batteries away from children.
Oh
when
my
they
God.
oxidize, so when you put them with other organic material, they can literally blow up. So you have to be really careful. And if you ingest a battery, it can be fatal. So
yeah, I've seen that. You know those
Put
round
away your
D
batteries.
ones,
Yeah.
the thingies. You put that on a bit of ham, burns. Imagine what that does to your tummy
Yeah.
inside if you eat it.
The
Same
thing is,
thing.
you're lucky if it gets to your tummy. The
Oh.
reason it's a problem is if it burns a hole in your esophagus on the way down.
Oh,
Because actually
yeah.
the acid in your stomach will diffuse it, but it's if it gets caught along the way is
Yeah,
the
but
problem.
surely we can teach ourselves to suck it back up through our ear canal.
If only,
Euston
if
Stations.
only.
The what?
Euston Station.
By Euston Station.
But a gory story for you. So unfortunately, because ears are obviously external, there are times when you can smell the infection coming into your room. So someone has an active ear infection, and as soon as they walk into the room, you can smell it. You still look in their ears. You still make sure that it is what you think it is. But the worst thing I ever witnessed, and unfortunately I've witnessed this twice, is you can get hearing aids. I've got one here where they've got a mould, which is, as we've been talking about, is specifically made to the shape of the ear. Now, they do just slot in, so you don't need much help. But some elderly people like to suck the mould to give it a bit of lubrication before they put it in their ear. And I've witnessed 2 separate occasions where someone has come in with a raging infection, smelly, pussy, odorous, and then they've licked their mould, put it back in their ear.
Oy, oy, oy.
And I know of other audiologists who have said the same thing, so unfortunately it's quite common.
That is a delightful note on which to end today's episode. Joe, while you're trying not to be sick, I would like to say this to Sarah. Sarah, you had filled both my ears and Joe's ears with a number of extraordinary facts, and my brain has processed them and found them most pleasing.
Good.
Joe?
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Not just the information you've provided today, but the energy in which you've delivered them and the spirit in which you've engaged in the show. I'll be always grateful for. You've been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really, really enjoyed it.
You're fucking brilliant. All except that last story.